The Rams will not be finishing this season 7-9. They defeated the New Orleans Saints 26-20. They're now 8-3. This is Gary Klein. I'm Lindsay Thayer for the Los Angeles Times. Really was all about slowing down Drew Brees. The Saints were on an 8-game win streak, and then they ran into Aaron Donald and all of his friends. Who would have thought, Gary, they would have sacked Brees 3 times, the most he's been sacked all season. A really big performance by the Rams defense.
The Rams really bounced back from that loss at Minnesota last week. The defense wasn't able to get to Case Keenum. They got to Brees early. They didn't really unnerve him, but they did just enough. Even without a turnover, even without all those penalties that the Rams committed, the defense was good when it needed to be, and they really carried the day.
It was funny, in the locker room after the game, the defensive backs were having a conversation about all the interceptions they could have had, and Kayvon Webster was definitely getting some heat from his teammates. However, Kayvon Webster, he came back from having a concussion last week. He made a huge third down stop. The Saints really could have had a touchdown there. Would have made it a much different game with plenty of time to play in the fourth quarter. So really a standout game for a cornerback they needed today.
The Rams played well in front, in the middle, and on the back end. Alvin Kamara was spectacular, right? A long touchdown run. They did break a long one against the Rams defense, but that run defense tightened up after that. They got a late touchdown pass, but again, they controlled Drew Brees when they needed to. And when you're playing against a future Hall of Famer like that, that's what wins you games.
Every starter available on the offense except for Robert Woods, and that's a big except because Robert Woods is the team's leading receiver. But today, it was Cooper Kupp. He bounced back from a tough game in Minnesota where he fumbled on the 1-yard line, as though we need to remind him of that one more time. More than 100 receiving yards. And then Josh Reynolds, the rookie from Texas A&M, catches his first touchdown pass and also has a big day.
Right, and Sammy Watkins.
And don't forget Sammy Watkins, who said that he was just trying to make a play that would show up on ESPN, and he did. He did when he tried to make that one-handed catch, and he handed it right to the Saints defense.
You know, they had to find a way to replace Robert Woods early in the game. The first play of the game, Goff hits Watkins on a slant route. He comes back to finish that drive with a touchdown pass. So now Sammy Watkins is in rhythm. Cooper Kupp, as you mentioned, steps up. And I think the big coming out today was Josh Reynolds.
Yeah.
He had the touchdown pass in the end zone. Jared Goff said it was a little backyard football where he pointed to where he wanted him to go. He fired the pass there, and Reynolds comes up with his first career touchdown.
And the Rams also have to give a lot of credit to Pharaoh Cooper for some nice returns, put them in good field position despite a handful of penalties. Also, Gary, Todd Gurley. We can't not mention Todd Gurley. Not a really great start for the run game. They tried to get Tavon Austin and Gurley going. Finally, they just kind of kept handing off to Gurley, and he did get going. But another game where he doesn't quite reach 100 yards, although he did catch a few passes out of the backfield. Ends up with good numbers, but how much are they going to have to get him going again?
I think as they get into the latter part of their schedule now, they've proven they can beat a contending team.
Yeah.
But as they get into the end of the season, they want to get Gurley back involved. And I think, as you mentioned, he got going a little bit, didn't really get over the hump. But remember, last week against the Vikings, they couldn't even get into field goal range. They couldn't even use Greg Zuerlein. Today, Gurley was a big reason why they were able to get up the field. Zuerlein kicks 4 field goals.
And speaking of Greg Zuerlein's 4 field goals, I talked to him after the game, and he was not happy with himself. I said, Greg, you kicked 4 field goals. I mean, you're the difference in this game. And he goes, yeah, but I missed that one. It's from 62 yards out. And he goes, yeah, but I hit it in practice. I should be able to make it.
And he had the wind at his back,
yeah,
but it was short.
He did. But, you know, that was kind of the sentiment. And I thought we'd be going to a locker room of guys just ecstatic to be 8-3. Sammy Watkins is. He says it's great to be on a winning team. But a lot of these guys just really aren't even satisfied after beating the Saints, who were, again, on an 8-game win streak. They're hungry for more, which is probably going to be important as they still continue to try and make a run to the playoffs.
Yeah, I didn't get the sense. Sometimes you can get a sense that guys are upset because they selfishly didn't get as many opportunities as they wanted. But tonight it was just different. I think, like you're saying, I think there were some opportunities there for people to make plays, and they were just upset that they didn't come up with them. But again, the Rams defense was so good tonight that they were able to withstand that.
And they scored 26 points. They're 8-3. They're still atop the NFC West, so plenty of things for the Rams to celebrate. All right, that's going to do it for Gary and myself from the Coliseum. We'll see you this week from Thousand Oaks.